Hi, welcome to my channel where I share ideas for creative and resourceful living and teaching while saving time, money, and earth. And today I'm happy to share with you a recipe with sprouted buckwheat. Why sprouted, you might ask? Well, in the process of germination, in which a little baby plant is beginning to grow, the same enzymes that help that baby plant grow make the nutrients in it more bioavailable to us humans and easier to digest, and they also provide the plant with higher antioxidants, fiber, and protein, and allow it to have fewer carbohydrates. On top of that, sprouted grains and seeds taste delicious. They're crunchy, they're juicy, they are fresh, and have that subtle flavor that you almost become addicted to once you go sprouted food route. In this video, you will see 3 easy ways to work with sprouted buckwheat, going from the easiest to the more involved one. So method number 1, the quickest and the easiest, but probably with fewest benefits of sprouted grains. All you have to do is to rinse your green buckwheat or hulled kernels, or in other words, groats. Let them stand overnight, and in the morning you will see that they have puffed up, and all you have to do is to put them in your blender with some oil and spices and water. You can put less water than what I'm showing here, but don't put more, otherwise it will be too runny. I love adding salt and garlic, and basically that's it: salt, garlic, and oil and some water. Blend it up. The consistency of dough will look something like pancakes, and then you just put it on your tray and bake at about 400 degrees for about 7 minutes on each side. Depending on how high of the temperature you used and how long you kept them there, they will look something like this, a little bit crispy on the edges and softer in the middle, perfect for dipping or using as actual toast bread with butter and cheese, or with some vegan options. If you make your batter a little bit thicker, by adding less water originally, then your breads will come out something like this, a little bit thicker and fluffier. We're moving on to method number 2, which is basically the same thing, only instead of baking your batter right away, you're actually going to allow it to ferment overnight, or at least a few hours. Then after you check on it after a few hours or next morning, you will see that fermentation is obvious. You see these bubbles, little dimples and holes, and this is going to make your bread even more nutritious. Your little round breads are definitely going to be softer and fluffier, and are just a perfect combination with your morning coffee. And we're moving on to method number 3, my favorite method, in which you are letting your grains sprout for a couple of more days. So instead of putting them in the blender the first morning, you are going to rinse them again and put them in your strainer over a bowl, cover them up nicely, and then repeat this. Meaning rinse, put in the strainer, cover with a cheesecloth, and do for a few days until you see these long shoots with green leaves. And again, you can use this in salads and smoothies, and for your batter for our gluten-free buckwheat breads. Add oil, spices, water. The other day I also added mashed potatoes, and I was really happy with the results. In between the breads, I put a layer of sauteed cabbage and baked it a little bit like this, and ended up with an analogy of Russian pirozhki with cabbage. By pouring a little bit less of the batter on your baking sheet and baking it at a higher temperature, you're going to end up with these cute little pita breads that you can stuff with your favorite fillings. And basically your imagination is your limit. Once you get a hang of the thickness of the batter, the temperature, the texture, I think you're going to be in love with this gluten-free and guilt-free bread. As usual, thanks for watching. Спасибо. Пока.